Hi, I'm Alex Zaves, and welcome to the Arts and Crafts Show. I'm just showing you a little bit of a crocodile off in the distance there. I'm in a resort right now, and they've got a crocodile here. But the subject I want to cover today is about arts and crafts shows, the ones that I usually will not apply to. I like to apply to shows that have arts and crafts in the title of the show. Arts Festival, Arts and Crafts Show, Art in the Park. That to me is where I think is the money to be made. I certainly don't like to do shows where it's a big carnival, rides and games, and there's a little bit of some arts and crafts off in a corner booth someplace. People usually don't go there. They basically want to go to an arts and crafts show, and it's just basically arts and crafts. If they're going to go to a carnival, that's great. And I don't want to be sort of the sideshow to a carnival. And they bring a lot of their children to the show. Maybe they have to pay to get into the carnival, and then there's all this money that they got to pay for their children, and there's really not much left over for the arts and crafts area. But it's fun, and but it's just not something I would go to. I wouldn't go to a show where they listed it as the first annual, okay, which is kind of funny because annual means every year, but it's their first one, and you really don't know if there's going to be a second or not. The community will decide whether it's a good show or not, and if you're going to travel 6, 7, or 8 hours to the show, you want to be able to be guaranteed that you're going to make more than a few $100s. So first annuals I don't go to. Even the second annual, not really that much, unless I'm so close by I'll do it, or it's sort of, it's in part of my community. I will support it for its continuation for the year after. And there's another kind of show that I don't do any longer, and I've done that. And let me see, I make my way here right now. I'll be heading out of here in about 11 days. Right now I'm in the island of Madagascar, which is off the coast of Africa. And I'll be doing some shows in Minnesota, so I've got to make my way there. And I'll be in Minnesota come about the 20th of May. My first show will be June 1st, and I'll be getting ready for that. But up until now, I'm hanging out here, and I've got a maki right here in the background. A maki, well, they call it a lemur here. Let's see if I can get his picture. Oh, he's on the ground a little bit now. Let's see if I can get him in the photo here. Are you there? There you go. Hello. There we are. You can hear him grunting a little bit. So I'll be heading out to Minnesota in about 2 weeks. I've got to pass. There he is, my friend in the background. I'll be heading out in a couple of weeks and be landing in Minnesota on the 20th. So I don't usually do first annuals or second annual shows because I'm looking at making, if you're going to do all that work to set up for a show, I want to have maximum time set up for my shows. The other show that I was thinking about is, and I've done this and I don't really like it, but I've tried it because I lived in the community, was where they'll take 10, 15, 20% of your sales. And not a big fan of that, because if, let's say it's a one-day show usually on a Saturday, and they'll take okay, let's say 15%, you make $1,000, it's $150 that they want, that 10%. And usually if your booth, and they'll also have a booth fee on top, maybe $75 for the booth fee. And a lot of times if you're paying $100 to do a show, usually the rule is 10 times the booth fee, so you should make it right around $1,000. And if they're already taking 15% on top or 20%, then that's a little bit too steep. 10% is more honest, but the thing of it is that when you're doing shows where they're taking a percentage on top, a lot of people aren't really honest in giving that much amount of money to the show. This happened to be a show that I've done was for the church. They wanted 15%, and at the end of the show, on the end of Saturday, there's a big long line of people waiting to tell everybody, what they made. It's on the honor system. You don't have to show them any receipts. You say you did $1,000. They want $150. You give them the $150. Usually write a check. Some people wrote I actually gave them cash. But while you're standing online, people, what are they talking about? They say, what are you going to give? Are you going to give that? Well, I'm going to give so much minus my booth, for example. My booth was $75. I think maybe I'll make minus that. Another person, which was interesting, they said, well, I want to come back here next year. And the way they determine if you can apply to the show again is how much did you give the percentage at the end of the show. And that makes you think a little bit, you know, okay, so they're going to give 20%. They were going to give a little bit more on top because they wanted to be guaranteed to come back the next year. So I've stopped doing those shows where you've got to pay 10% on top. I've done that before where it's a 4-day show and you know, at the end of the day, you give the 10%, and it was a 12-hour long show, and it wasn't all that good. And when you think about not all that good, and then you've got to pay a percentage on top, it just sort of feels like you're adding insult to injury. I'm not a big fan of that, but others who do the show, maybe let me know in the comment section below what your feelings are about doing shows where they take a percentage. And there are some shows where they will actually make you fill out forms in triplicate, one with the customer, one from you, and one from the show promoter. And that's how they can keep track of your sales, which I think really slows down the sales process. But you'll find that a lot of bazaars do that, and I think that is bizarre. So I'll do shows, you know, that are just basically arts and crafts oriented, and I kind of find that the best way to do shows. There are some blueberry festivals, like I said, that aren't too bad, because it's basically they're just selling blueberry pie, and the people are coming for that, and then they're coming for, for the blueberry pie or for the strawberry preserves, and they sell food amongst the craft show anyway. So it's just a food section, but where it's like a wine and cheese party, jazz festival, blues concert, where it's really, you know, they got some big names coming out, then the people are coming for that. And the crafts and the arts are sort of like a sideshow, like at the carnival. We're a sideshow, and I really don't like to be thought of as a sideshow. They're just boosting their crowd by saying, we've got arts there, come visit the arts, you know, but you're not going to sell much there. So I kind of prefer to do strictly arts and craft shows. So I'm trying to see. Okay, so I'm making my way back over to the pool. And so that's what I like to do. I don't know what your opinions are about doing arts and craft shows, but there are some arts and craft shows where you need to pay to get into the show. And if it's not a very heavy duty fee, it's not too bad. They'll pay like $3 per person. And I see that as both good and bad. They'll have pretty good entertainment at the show. And they'll pay the $3 or $4 or $5 to get into the show. They're mostly going for the entertainment. But you know that the people who are coming to the show are serious buyers because they're willing to pay to get into the show. And though I don't really like it that much, and I've tried it, but if you make money, then it's worth it. So, and they use that money, not exactly sure, I hope it's used for publicity purposes. And so I do those shows as well. So yeah, a lot of those shows I don't do anymore, and you know, the ones that, you know, advertise, it's something else, but you know, and then we're sort of the sideshow. So that's my opinion about that. I don't know what you're all thinking about when it comes to doing shows, and tell me what your experiences are at the arts and crafts show. So I've got some nice, you know, I don't know if I can catch that bougainvillea behind there, but it's got lots of nice colors in it. Yeah, there it is. See if I can zero in on that for you. There. Bougainvilleas with many different colors in it. Anyway, so that's my opinion. Let me know what you all think. I'm coming over here to where the pool area is really quick. I'm kind of enjoying my last 10 days here before I head back to the States and get ready for the art shows. I want you to let me know if you enjoy this video. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a share and like. Subscribe if you can. And I'll see you at the next video. Thanks very much. Bye.